freelightroomtutorials.com. Easy to follow, easy to learn, designed to inspire.
Hey everyone, my name is Matthew, and this is a quick how-to video on how to use the Splendid Landscape preset from presetguru.com. So this is a great free preset on our website. It doesn't cost you a cent to use, and it's got some great effects that it does to an image, or specifically a landscape. So the preset's designed to do three main things. The first one is designed to direct your eyes to the center of the image. That's done through a circular gradient tool. The next is to create a warmer image. If I look at this image the way it was before, it starts out to be the raw image is a cooler image. So the preset's designed to add warmth to any kind of landscape. And the third one is designed to give you a bit of a softer image, a bit of a vintagey feel, a vintage/matted feel. You notice that it's not really a punchy landscape with a lot of vibrant colors. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to give you a more of a matted, vintagey look. So those are the three things that this preset's designed to do. Now, here are three key elements in the preset that help make it look the way it does. The first one is the circular gradient tool. On the right-hand side here, if I click the gradient tool, if I turn it off and on, you notice that it is a very bright image with the circular gradient turned off, and a much more of a directive or refined image with the gradient on. So what the gradient is doing is it's darkening. If you notice the exposure, it's darkening the outside of the image to pull you to the center, to pull you to the focal point of the image, where the horizon line is, and enhancing those highlights. So that's essentially one of the key elements of this image. The next is the tone curve. So the tone curve itself is it's a lot of fun to play with, and in this example here, what we've done is we've limited the blacks, how dark they can get. We've also increased the highlights and sort of increased how bright they'll get. If you notice here, we still have some darks, and those are actually shadows in the image. What we've done is we've limited, like I said, how actually dark the actual blacks can get in the image, so that we can get sort of that matted, faded, vintage look to a degree. The last thing that's a really important key element, or the key piece of this preset, is the split toning section. So if you notice here in the split toning section, if I turn it off, the image is a bit blue, a bit purple, much cooler. With the split toning, what it does is it allows us to control those highlights and those shadows specifically with certain tones that are dominant within those elements. So we notice here the highlights, we've added a bit of a warmth. That's the warm feel you're getting. We've also added a bit of a green warmth with the shadows as well. So they're not a dominant cool, they're much more of a warmer feel itself. So those are the three key elements of this preset. Now, this preset works really well with landscapes that have a blue sky. So if you notice here, this is the raw image. You notice the raw image is very blue. There is a landscape that's great. It's very blue, meaning it's not very warm to start with, and that is a great template to work with. Another great image here is of this image. It starts out very blue with a great blue sky, and if I apply the preset, you notice that it will do a very good job with what we're looking for. Now, this preset does not work well with images with a blown out sky. So if I'm going to go to this image here of this iceberg, and basically you notice here, this has a really white sky or an overcast day. This preset out of the box will not work very well with an image like this. You'll have to manipulate it a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I click the Splendid preset here, this is what we get out of the box with an image with a really bright sky. And what's happening is we're enhancing the highlights. We're increasing the highlights and the whites. And with an image that has a lot of white and a lot of highlights already existing, it's going to enhance it even more. And what we have to do is either drop down the exposure a little bit and also the highlights. And you see now we bring back some of that sky. Essentially, you just want to limit and reduce what exists there, and so on. So that's a bit of an idea of how this preset works, and sort of photos that work well with it. So images that work well with this preset are landscapes with a bright blue sky that you can work with, and the kind of images that it doesn't work well with are images that are a bit darker and start out warmer to start with, and obviously have a blown out sky as well. Thanks again. My name is Matthew. This is a quick how-to video on how the Splendid Landscape preset works. Please download it, check it out. It doesn't cost a cent, and I'd love to see some images you have created with it in the future. Thanks again.
freelightroomtutorials.com. Easy to follow, easy to learn, designed to inspire.